Alright guys, we're back at it. Mud truck's in the shop, or mud hoe, Tahoe, whatever. Anyways, we're getting to work on this thing. We're going to try and get this engine buttoned up and try and get it, see if we can even get it running in this video maybe. We'll see what happens with it. I'm probably stretching my words a little bit, but we'll see how far we get. Got a cam and springs to put in it, and those just showed up. So there's some springs and new camshaft for it. And so this is just some cheapo Amazon sloppy stage 2 cam, and then supposed to be Pack 1218 equivalent springs, but just whatever cheapo Amazon brand. So we don't know a whole lot about the engine, we don't know a whole lot about the truck, we don't know a whole lot about anything yet. So we'll just slap some cheap stuff in it and see what happens. So first, let's get the oil pan off of it, then we'll get the front of the motor ripped off and we'll get to work. Alright, we got the oil pan off, and pretty good news there. Didn't find any real big chunks. She's a little sludged up down in there, but I'm not too worried about it. I've seen a lot worse. So, got the windage tray and pickup tube off of it. And we're going to go ahead now and lift the body off so we can get the accessories off, get to the cam. Now we're going to slip the cam in there, get a little lube on it. We're not going to look too hard at the cam bearings. If we look at them, there's a chance they might be bad. So we don't want that. We're just going to slap this new guy in there, get a little lube on there. Alright guys, and the day is upon us. I'm going to get some paint on this frame, get her all cleaned up. Got the motor pulled out, transfer case disassembled from a slip yoke eliminator, and I got some pieces ordered for that too. But kind of neither here nor there right now. This is the project at hand. We're going to get some black on this thing. So just some Rust-Oleum, nothing too crazy, not getting carried away. Just want to make it all one color, and we're basically just going to try and get the top side of the frame and the inside everywhere that we can try and get while the chassis is just here bare, no body on it. And then once we get the body back on, then we can go through and paint from the underside once we lift up the whole frame and everything, and then we'll get the axles, springs, bottom side of the frame. But for right now we're just focused on what we can basically see, and we're not going to do a whole lot else. So let's get some paint slapped on this thing. And I've really been going to town here on this outfit, and I'm pleased with what I got done. So we pushed the condenser and the radiator back just as far as the bottoms, so just the bottoms. So these are just kind of tilted. Make room for my winch. I was able to kind of relocate my little A-frame brace in there, and then I've done some more cutting here. And so I cut the rest of this core support out. I took my spring and my shock out so I could get the spring out. And then right now I'm at full bump, sitting on the bump stop. So this is all the further up that this tire's ever going to come. So I don't have to worry about, you know, hitting any of the other stuff here, I guess. So we're good to go there, just making sure I'm clearanced. And this is all pretty weak right here, though. This is flimsy. This is flimsy. Kind of made everything flimsy cutting that out. So that's what I'm addressing right now. And just got this little brace gonna make up here, and that's gonna go from here up to here. Now I'm just gonna bolt it both ways, and hopefully that'll tie this together, give it some strength. And it doesn't have to be super strong, but just got to be good enough. So otherwise we got the winch mounted up, and I still got to figure out my fair lead and all that. But anyways, just doing a little bit as we go. I got some quarter plate bolted right here, and then bent back up to hold the radiator, since that's back behind the core support now. But everything looks like it's kind of supposed to tuck in like that, so I'm pretty impressed with how that's turning out. Winch is recessed pretty good. It's not sticking out obnoxiously far or anything. So we'll get her all clearanced up and get this little brace welded up, and then I gotta just mimic everything over on this driver's side. So the driver's side is still unmolested for the most part. Get this washer tank out and cut my fender and do all that stuff and rocking and rolling. But the frame's all painted. Shouldn't say all painted. Like I say, I just got the top of it. The bottom side's still pretty rusty and what have you, but I'll be able to get everything better when I get down underneath the frame. It's a lot easier to do that. So. And then we'll get the motor and everything dropped back in it. Transfer case back together. There's a bunch of work to do yet, but now we just kind of got to put stuff back together. It's all pretty much built. We're just making sure everything's functional now. So, and just assembling. And then a little more paint. But we'll do every bit as it needs done. And right now, just working on this front end. Try and tie that together. Alright, next project. Gonna get this slip yoke eliminator into my 241s. Ripped apart 2 transfer cases to get enough good parts to do this. So anyways, but yeah, this is gonna take about 5.5 inches off the overall length of the 241C. And so just swap out the output shafts, and then it comes with this retainer here. So that way we've got less of this for the slip yoke here, and we lose this whole tail housing off the back of the transfer case. So gonna get right into it and pop that in. It's gonna add some strength and also lengthen up our drive line, help the angles a little bit. So Tahoe's not in here right now, waiting for parts. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get to it here, get this thing done. Waiting for parts for the truck I'm working on for my work week. Anyway, not waiting on Tahoe parts. Those are here. So let's get this thing slapped together. Here we are, we got our 241 all back together with our slip yoke eliminator. So yeah, we've lost about that much off the back of this transfer case now, so I'm really happy with that. And also increased the strength of it, because it's naturally kind of a weak transfer case back here with this little floodle dogging thing back there. So all stout, gotta get some fluid in it. Before I mount this up, I am gonna pull the pan on the Tahoe, trans pan. Want to make sure that this transmission doesn't have any guts hanging out of it or nothing. So long as it doesn't, we're going to slap a new filter in it, pan gasket, and then we'll put the transfer case on behind it. But anyways, no sense in bolting the transfer case up if the transmission's garbage. So we're going to try and get kind of an idea here at first. I know it went backwards and forwards at least. It did that much before. So that's probably all I need it to do, but we'll just make sure things are as good as they can get anyways, and then go from there. So, and I think we got a winner. Bunch of clutch material, little water, it's been sitting, but no hard pieces in there. The magnet doesn't have anything catastrophic stuck to it. I would say this is in every bit as good a shape as any transmission I've ever used. So we'll go ahead and get her all cleaned up, get this filter popped off right here, put her back together. Alright guys, we hit another stopping point here, and it's not really a stopping point, it's more of a starting point. But I got the fuel tank in, all plumbed and wired. I got all the wiring harness ran, just kind of rough, through the truck where it needs to go. And we got all the wiring harness here under the hood, All the fuse block and everything tied back together. So still a lot of things that need to be finished up. I ain't got no belt on it yet. No AC belt, no cooling fan. No cooling in it. So anyways, just think I'm at a spot now where I can fire it. So I got my fuel lines there run. Right there. And so I think we're ready to go. Battery should have a full charge. I've had that charging. Let's see if this old girl will fire up. Alright guys, so I've been a busy boy, been right at it, and we've got this thing pretty much wrapped as far as a lot of the running system here. I got all my brake lines and brakes all done, did that off camera. It's pretty boring stuff, just running brake lines and putting brakes on. Did all that. Got my front axle wrapped up, got some new U-joints in here. All my brakes, like I said, are all done. Rado, he's so excited, he can't wait to go for a rip in this old girl. But steering's all hooked up. It's not quite adjusted or nothing. I still got to get some DOM tubing for all my links for my steering and my panhard. But power steering's hooked up. Got my lines all run for that too. Radiator's all in. Cooling system's full. Heater hoses are run. I don't have the AC hooked up yet, so I still got to connect all my lines. But I do have everything for that. Everything in the rear I got all hooked up. I got my shocks on. You guys saw me take care of the exhaust, and then I even managed to make this sweet drive shaft for it here. So I bought a parts truck, F250, that had some good parts. So I took this drive shaft here. It was a two-piece originally, and I had to add this chunk here to it. So, you know, about 16 inches I added to it, welded her all back up. It's not completely true, but it's good enough for the mud truck. But so everything's working on this thing. She's a runner now. Ooh! Runner now. She'll fire up, go in gear, drive, steer, stop, does all those things. Still need to take care of getting the body fully mounted. We're just sitting on these body mounts still on the front, and the back part of the body is just sitting on the frame. There's no mounts or anything back there, just sitting on it. So everything's there, still gotta get taken care of. I did add a power steering cooler to it. Got this core support braced up on each side, so I still need to make mounts for that. But everything's a working on to it. And so let me prove it to you. First impressions?
Love it.
But there she is, everybody. Finally got her all wrapped up as far as the getting it running part. So I said I was going to, and here it is now. So we get to move forward from here and get everything else finished up. I've only got the rear drive shaft in it now. Still need a front and mount the body to it permanently and do some cosmetics and a good cleaning. But we're getting there, and I'm happy with the progress. I hope everybody else is too. So anyways, if you'd like to give it a thought, maybe hit the like button, comment, or even give us a subscribe. Appreciate it. Thank you.